being considered would reduce the penalty for possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana.
The new Mercy Health Emergency Center in Fairborn says patient volume has nearly doubled since October. The Dayton Springfield Emergency Center has 700 patients last month. That's up from 388 patients in October. The center says the average time for patients to wait to see a doctor is 7 minutes. It offers a full-time service, emergency room, imaging services, and a full lab service.
Repair is now underway at the former Grocery Lane store in Dayton, which was destroyed by the Memorial Day tornadoes. The Troy Street building took a big hit with a lot of damage to the front of the building as well as the roof. This, by the way, is the first time we've seen work being done there since the tornadoes.
Tracking alert, and there's a chance for freezing fog this morning.
Yeah, spotty fog a little bit, but freezing fog is the issue, according to Jesse. Let's get the very latest.
Yeah, normally with this type of fog, I wouldn't even mention it on air. It's just the fact that we have temperatures this low where any bit of moisture in the air is going to make contact with the surface and actually freeze on contact. That's where the issue is, because we had this over the weekend and there were accidents associated with it. That's why we're trying to keep you aware of what's going on out there. In Troy, you can see just fine. Even the tower in the background, no big deal. I can see it blinking. So we have fine visibility in Troy. 33 degrees in Dayton, visibility around 7 miles, so things are all good there. However, I've been noticing off towards the south of Dayton, specifically Middletown, and even farther south, a little bit closer towards Cincinnati, where there's some dense fog. What does that mean? There's just moisture in the air. No big deal. Fog is fog, but it's the ground temperatures that's a big deal. There's been several spots down into the mid-20s, New Lebanon, down in Springboro and Centerville. You guys are at 26 degrees, and look how short of a distance that is from Centerville to downtown Dayton. Such a big gap in the temperature in a short distance. Well, that's due to the clearing skies that we've seen off towards the south. It's really dropped the temperatures down, believe it or not. These clouds can act like a blanket, and in this case, keep Dayton warm, whereas Centerville's dropping down much lower than that. So I mentioned the fog itself isn't a big deal. It's what's happening because of the fog. We have the water vapor in the air that condenses. It's just liquid water vapor in the air. No big deal, but it touches a surface that is colder. It's below freezing, and that can create a glaze of ice. Again, we've seen this over the weekend, and it caused some accidents. So pay close attention, especially for these areas to the south of Dayton, where there's a little bit more fog and those temperatures are much, much colder. You can even see those clear skies as well. Thankfully, the clouds are moving in. I anticipate that to warm up some temperatures off towards the south here shortly. But to start off, they were clear when I was coming in at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I saw plenty of stars, and that's why we're seeing the temperatures dropping down. A weak disturbance producing a couple snowflakes off towards the north. I don't think that has an impact on anyone, but up in Salina, St. Mary, St. Henry, Fort Loramie, you can see a couple flakes falling out there to start off your morning. As we progress throughout the remainder of the morning, the fog will quickly remove itself, and it's very isolated in nature right now. Temperatures top off very close to the average in the mid-30s and just cloudy skies overhead. Into the overnight hours, still cloudy with a low temperature falling to 30 degrees, fairly typical weather overnight as well. And tomorrow, the staple for January weather, temperatures stay right around the lower to mid-30s for most of the day, cloudy skies throughout. The temperature trend throughout the next 5 days is very steady as well. Not a whole lot of changes. The average for this time of year is 35 degrees. We're going to stay pretty close to that for the first 3 days of the work week as we head into Thursday, up to about 40 degrees, and hopefully we see some sunshine for Thursday before clouds return on Friday. Aside from the freezing fog that we're seeing this morning, the work week is pretty quiet. Just a few snow showers there on Wednesday, and again, hopefully we can get some sunshine for Thursday. We're bringing you weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Sergeant Mark is back to check on the roads with us. How are things looking, Sarge?
Jesse, actually, things are moving at normal speed on the freeway system that we've had a chance to check on so far. Here's Interstate 75 at Stanley Avenue. Of course, we're watching these conditions closely for the possibility of some freezing fog in the area. Haven't really noticed any slowdowns on the freeway, and the good news is we haven't really seen any accidents. I'm Sergeant Mark Bauer at WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
With the freezing fog, now is a great time to download our free WHIO weather app. It will allow you to follow along with Storm Center 7 meteorologist Jesse Maag as he tracks fog throughout the Miami Valley. You can do so on live Doppler 7 radar. Just search WHIO weather in your app store.
The time right now is 5:20. It is 32 degrees.
Well, a somber beginning to the annual Grammy Award show. Those attending the show pay tribute to those killed just hours before in a deadly helicopter crash.